Ha ha! You can see it in their eyes. You can hear it in their war rooms. These teams want to win. I mean, really badly. Well, let's see who wants it more, eh? Fnatic and SK, send your 2v2 combatants into the arena.
The pairs making their way to the podiums, and you look at SK Gaming going with what worked so well most recently. Fnatic, though, making a little bit of a shift here.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic, I think, is still really trying to figure out the winning formula with their team, coming out with Dion and Lemon Tea. Hopefully, this will be the duo for them to really do work on SK, who is coming back out with Morten and Mythja. They pulled a quick one on Team Liquid, playing those Royal Recruits and Royal Hogs in the very first game. Interested to see what they're going to do today.
And the ban cards, nothing to say here, folks, other than we've seen this before. It's Poison and Tornado.
Yeah, always got to be safe getting those two cards off the table. They're just so effective here in our 2v2 set. Now, I like I said before, I'm really curious to see if SK is going to pull a quick one on Fnatic with some new strategy.
Well, we just saw what Mythja and Morten can do together when they took out Team Liquid's Surgical Goblin and Diego B. Can they do it here against Dion and Lemon Tea? SK at the top of your screen, Dion and Lemon Tea of Fnatic at the bottom for this first game of our 2v2 set.
Oh, wow, and immediately we see decks that are in complete opposition. It looks like we're running two bait decks coming from SK, and I'm whispering because I don't want them to hear me. And then the other one, Fnatic, it looks like they're running two beatdown decks. This is going to be an incredible David versus Goliath battle.
And the Lumberjack cleaning up some of those early barrels, getting those goblins off the board. Now, what do you think about playing that Fireball on the Goblin barrel to open up?
I mean, you just don't want to take a lot of damage. I think, obviously, Fnatic here recognizes immediately that SK is running some sort of bait deck. So getting that chip damage, if those Goblins do a lot of work, even one time, it's not a damage deficit that you want to be in.
So even especially when you have so much more elixir between two players, maybe making that 4-3 trade also not as much of an issue.
Yes, exactly. And also they're going to have more spells to respawn between the two of them than you normally would in a deck. Usually most decks only have two great responses spell-wise to log bait.
So the question here, will SK be able to pull off this log bait deck? We haven't seen a ton of it here in 2v2, although this week the action has gotten a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job early on of keeping up the pressure, chipping away at those towers. That's exactly what you want to do. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like to me that Fnatic is that worried. They're just kind of taking the hits as they come, waiting for double elixir to come around. And on the other side of that, SK has to know there's going to be a lot of beatdown coming here in about 20 seconds.
So the Fireball cleared the Princess out in the top right hand of your screen. Fnatic down on the scores so far. Both towers in danger, but we are approaching double elixir time, and there we go, seeing the Golem Night Witch push.
Yes, and with that double elixir approaching so quickly, they're able to allocate all this elixir, Night Witch, Golem, P.E.K.K.A., and they know that this is going to be a hard response for SK. They're going to see how they do on their very first real challenge this match.
Now, normally you'd think that P.E.K.K.A. in this situation kind of in trouble because there are so many small, fast responses. But does it also, by requiring a response, kind of support the Golem push in the opposite lane?
It really does. If you can afford to split them, you might not even have to always split them, but it's just the fact that they're two units with such a great amount of health. And with SK, they can't just stack all their units in one place, or else it'll just get spelled out and they'll lose so much elixir and so much damage.
It's looking like the Strongman World Championships as barrels fly over to the right-hand tower, down to 387 now, clearly within spell range.
Yeah, really interesting high Golem. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so that they have to defend the same lane that they're having to defend in the same lane that they've been pushing this whole time, but it's just too little, too late. They've just done way too much damage here, SK has.
And SK Gaming cleaning up that first 2v2 game. It really feels like this Mythja Morten combo has kind of been the magic here for them.
Yeah, an incredible display of communication. You see the rocket coming in, basically the nail in the coffin. Now, Fnatic's going to try to bounce back, but that is a really, really tough matchup. Seeing that you're running a pretty standard Golem beatdown deck in 2v2, which is basically the meta now, basically getting destroyed by a log bait deck. I wonder what they're going to drop in the playbook right now.